Hello, everybody, and welcome to something a little unexpected today. Unexpected for me, because three things happened recently that I thought would never happen. One of those things was I finally finished Monster Hunter Stories 2, including the endgame, a game that I've really enjoyed, but took probably the better part of a year to actually keep going back to and finishing. I recently restarted making videos again, and the third thing that I thought would never happen is my PS4 probably died. Probably died? Definitely died. When I say probably died, it's dead. It overheats in seconds now. I can't turn it on, and honestly, I don't play my PS4 that much. The big thing with that is, ever since I finished Sunbreak, I started revisiting World and Iceborne. Not much. I'd play a few hunts every couple of weeks or months just to go back to it. So I had spent the time since Sunbreak ending until now, and I was just getting to the very, very end of Iceborne. I was just about to fight Shara Ishvalda, and my PS4 completely died. And it made me think about how much I enjoyed playing World and how going back to it after playing other Monster Hunter games, like 4 Ultimate, old gen games. I even found an old copy of 3 Ultimate, playing stories, playing now on my phone. I really didn't sit down and get into World the way that I did when I very first played it. I did a couple of hunts. Most monsters I hunted once or twice only, and that was it. So without being able to finish the game and feeling a little down by that, I decided to go ahead and get it on PC and restart my world journey. And now I'm going to show all of you that. So this is me in my, I'd say, first serious return to Worlds. Since the very first time I played it. Not the very first Monster Hunter game I ever put my hands on, but the first game that I ever played seriously. Fun fact, the very first game that I played was 4 Ultimate on 3DS. I think I did 2 collection quests and 4 or 5 tutorial fights against Great Jaggy in the arena, which is basically how you learn if you like a certain weapon, take a practice version of the weapon, go into the arena. Doesn't matter. Point is, World is the first game that I seriously played, and after playing so many other games, I'm looking forward to going back to it and seeing what I really think about it, because I have some memories, and I've definitely have some evolving thoughts as I've touched on World every now and then, but anyway, this intro is too long, so let's go. I really had no idea what I thought the first time I started playing this game. As I said, I'd played a very little bit of 4 Ultimate. I don't even remember how I originally became aware of Monster Hunter. It might have been one of those titles I just kept seeing around and eventually wanted to try. I actually wanted to try it enough to go buy a copy that I would afterwards lose for years and years and years, to the point where I didn't even realize I owned 4 Ultimate until fairly recently. But yeah. I really wish I remembered what I thought the first time I saw all of this, but odds are I just sat back and soaked it all in anyway. But I've gone back and played 4 Ultimate, and I know that this is the excitable A-lister. I wonder if we were supposed to know that. Now, my 3DS may be old, or maybe the game always looked like that, but I could barely make out a lot of those faces when I went and started playing it recently, so I don't even know if I would have known who that was. And after spending entirely too much time in the character creator, I believe we are ready, except for the armor selection. I do feel like when I first went back to World for the very first time, I did choose the Guardian set because I just kind of wanted to experience some of the monsters I hadn't seen in a while again. Uh, but I do think I'll just start with the leather set because the Guardian set does give you a huge advantage. And as nice as it was for some cozy hunting, I don't think I'll. Nope, I won't use any of the Guardian weapons. Not trying to make it a challenge run, but I kind of want to just experience the game as it was when it first came out, without some of that catch-up mechanics. So, I'm going to call that finished. And just like that, through the magic of editing, what has appeared to be moments was actually hours, literal hours. But we now have our snake and we have our Khalil, and we're off. World gets a lot of credit for being the first Monster Hunter game with a story, and I don't actually think that's true. I feel like the story in Monster Hunter games is usually pretty sparse. I mean, the story, so much of it is in the text and the quest descriptions. You're just a hunter in a town. You're helping. You do several things that help different people, different NPCs, or the town you're in as a whole. In general, with a looming threat, and I don't really feel like that formula is actually changed in World. I feel like it's the same, just with a few more cutscenes and a few more character interactions. But I wouldn't even say necessarily that that gave the characters more personality. Like the characters in 4 Ultimate have so much personality. That might be my favorite. For them to be unnamed NPCs, I feel like I laughed so much watching 4 Ultimate. It was so much fun. The characters had some pretty big personalities to have no cutscenes or voice lines. And that way, I think I would say that Rise Break really had the first flushed out narrative of the Monster Hunter games, or the most by far. So, fun fact, knowing absolutely nothing about Monster Hunter, when we're first introduced to Zora Magdaros and everyone refers to him as an Elder Dragon, I thought he was the Elder Dragon. I didn't realize at all that Elder Dragon was just a classification of monster or just how many Elder Dragons there were, because so little is explained about the world of Monster Hunter. You just kind of get it as you go. But when they kept saying the Elder Dragon, Zora Magdaros, I thought, yeah, he's a mountain. That seems like the Elder Dragon, I guess. I guess that's just his nickname. There is something about this era of games, and it's definitely persisted. But I feel like this is around the time it was really starting. I personally, hot take, don't love this style of super cinematic opening. Like it's cool, but it's kind of like when a movie starts at a super action-packed segment and then says 2 weeks earlier because it just feels like it wasn't confident enough in its story, so it wanted to give you the good, exciting parts first instead of just starting the story at the beginning. That's just me. So, yeah, we had a moment of introducing some characters and a little bit of dialogue, but I'm a little old school, and maybe a too old school in this regard. But when I start playing a game, I kind of just want to start playing the game. Like thinking about right here, there's lava, there's rocks falling, but like, I don't know, once you've played God of War 2, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like the rocks, okay, maybe it matters a little bit because that guy definitely knocked me down. But it doesn't, you're gonna dodge the fire because it makes it feel more cinematic for you, but it's not actually affecting the gameplay in any way. Second hot take of the video. I think Zora Magdaros, while being a little mysterious with having so much of how he looks uh, covered up, I don't know. I think he would look much better without all of this stuff hanging on him. I mean, you can barely make out what he really looks like. That's just me. One thing that I can definitely never take away from this game is just how great it looks. It's a really beautiful game. Never playing the older Monster Hunters, I couldn't imagine how mind blowing it was. Cause like now that I've played 4 Ultimate and Generations Ultimate, so to think to go from that game to this game, it had to be a huge leap. One thing I think World does better than some of the newer games, looking at you Wilds, is the distinction in the gatherable and collectible stuff in the world. Like obviously in the older games, the maps were pretty barren, and so the collectibles like herbs and whatnot stood out pretty well. But I think that that's been lost a little bit in Wilds. I know that some of the collectible foliage or whatever for mining, it can almost seem to fade into the background a little bit. So if you didn't have pop-ups on the side of your screen, am I crazy? I feel like we went this way. Oh, well, the map is telling me to go this way, but it definitely feels like that. Oh, I know. I know for a fact that opens up. I'm not crazy. But I do think that World still kept not only kept the collectibles somewhat distinct, so you weren't relying on looking up pop-ups on the side of your screen, which really kind of take you out of the moment. I mean, half the time I'm playing Wilds, I'm not even really looking at the map. I'm just looking at the pop-ups on the screen that I can cycle through and grab with my slinger. I definitely wouldn't say Great Jagras is my favorite introductory monster. Not at all. It's not even my favorite introductory monster in this game, but don't pick a fight you can't win because we don't have weapons. But um, but yeah, but they are pretty cool. Even in this game, I know it's not really an introductory monster, but I think Titsuyaku is my favorite really low level raptor like monster. I do wish that the hide mechanic. Oh, God, I'm going the wrong way. Or am I? Because no, it was just telling me to go towards the handler. Uh, Forgot what I was saying. Completely and utterly forgot what I was saying. And I touched on this a little bit in the five best and five worst things about Wilds, but I really feel like the map design it feels several steps below this. Like this ancient forest. Oh, there's footprints somewhere. Um, One thing I wish I could do. I'm going to get sidetracked so many times. One thing I wish I could do, and I maybe could if I looked around, change the color of the scout flies. This is extremely hard for me to see and always has been. It's something about this color on these types of backgrounds. I wish I could make them kind of blue, like the Elder Dragon scout flies or the Temperate scout flies. Yeah, and I told myself that I would go on that tangent and not forget the original thing that I was about to say, and yet I did. Oh yeah, map design. I feel like the Ancient Forest is still it's still a maze. I could still get lost in it to this day. Even going through the entire map, even doing all of the paw exchange, treasure hunting that got you to look through every nook and cranny, and the maps in Wilds, while gorgeous, definitely comparable to this map visually. It just doesn't. It's just definitely not as an interesting map to explore. There's really no reason to explore. There's really nothing to find. I would love if the Master Rank expansion of Wilds gave us something similar to the paw swap. I said paw exchange, I think. Paw swap, like the treasure hunting, something, or like in Rise, where you had to look in the different nooks and crannies to find little lore secrets. I don't remember exactly what the system was, but I think you had to find different secret spots throughout the map to uncover the lore of the area. But I would love maps that were a little more fun to explore instead of just hallways to rooms, which is what Wilds kind of is. It's funny to think that all of that happened out on the ocean, and yet me and the handler were literally the last two to arrive. My third hot take of the video, I think, is that I actually really like the handler and always have. I always thought that she was fun and at times funny. It would be some time after I finished with World that I learned that people found her annoying, and I never really got it. I do greatly like that they didn't continue this trend in Wilds of, well, your hunter doesn't talk, even though everyone else does now, which weird choice, but your hunter doesn't talk, so the handler is going to talk for you. Because I feel like a lot of the hate came from the fact that the handler was kind of always the center of attention, or the handler was always interacting with your Palico, but it was clear like the handler was speaking for you. Really don't understand why they did that instead of just having your hunter speak and react, and maybe even interact with the handler. Yeah, and they're looking lost and confused as Snake. What is a Monster Hunter game without Snake? While Snake is happier to see the handler than me, I don't know, but well, I do know because I kind of just said it. I'm interacting through the world, to the world, with the world, through her, for some reason. Just an odd choice. I don't get it. Ah, yes, investigating the Jagras habitat, and thus began the long-running joke of the hunter investigating murdering every monster in the New World. I remember how hard it was to finally decide on a weapon. I went through so many changes the first time I played. And personally, I always try out weapon, well, a new weapon or a weapon I'm not usually used or a weapon I haven't used recently whenever I start a new Monster Hunter game. So I think the very first time I played, I don't remember what my first weapon was, but I remember getting to Kieran and feeling pretty hard stuck on it and switching to bow because I was getting hit so much by its lightning. And the bow helped a lot, being able to attack a little bit at range. And I think I used the bow all the way up into Iceborne when I think I switched to hammer and eventually ended with switch axe. I think I used hammer for most of Iceborne, and then I remember beating Fatalis with switch axe. And then I went to Rise and I tried Longsword. Why am I just standing here? And then I went to Sunbreak and I tried Hunting Horn. But yeah, I always try to switch it up a little bit. Even though some of the weapons they play so differently, it's yeah, even if you play the same weapon game to game, it's not going to feel exactly the same. I remember the first time I tried World, I think I went straight to Great Sword. So, through the magic of editing, after giving it much thought, I think I've decided to go with Insect Glaive. Looking at it, I don't think there's a weapon at this point I haven't played the majority of a Monster Hunter game with, except Lightbow Gun and Lance. But I think I'll use Insect Glaive. I recently played through the bulk of 4U with Insect Glaive, and it was pretty fun. So I don't think they're going to give me any kind of free talisman. No. Not going to use the defender armor. No. Sever over. You know what? I kind of like blunt more for the knockouts. So alloy weapons. Do I want fire defense or water defense? Well, I like the way the leather armor looks better. So yeah, Jagras's. Something about Jagras's. Alrighty, now that I've taken a moment to look at the weapon controls that I'm certain I won't remember, you know, you just kind of got to learn. Because, yes, I used a lot of Insect Glaive in 4U, and that was pretty recent for me. I basically just used Aerial Insect Glaive. I have a very weird chipmunk gerbil face. I did not realize that. But I wish there was a way, like maybe choosing certain meals, you can see the older animations, because as the canteen gets upgraded and the meals get crazier and crazier, you can't see the old animations anymore. I just wish you could. Insect Glaive tutorial. Do I need items? Probably. Well, actually, probably not. I'm fine. It's Jagras's. Okay, I definitely don't remember. Oh, a little practice might not be bad. Don't remember the field team leader coming with us. Alright, so some basic weapon controls. Slashy, slashy, slash. Yeah, that feels about right. Slammy, slashy, slash. Yep, that feels about right too. I think there is a slammy, slashy, extra slam. Okay. I'm guessing a little bit stronger, but a bit slower. Oh, gotta change that setting. I don't like the running with your weapon you automatically unsheath. Let's see. Jump, slash, down. Jump, slash, down. Jump, evading slash, advancing slash, I think. Completely ignoring the tutorial pop-ups as I just figure it out. Yep. Okay, advancing slash. And, we can figure out the rest of as we go. Say that as I continue to do exactly what I was just doing. See, get extract, pull in extract. Don't let the Aptonoff get away because I want it sweet meat. Done. Carve the sweet meat. It is such a huge quality of life upgrade going from 4U to Generations Ultimate that holding the button makes you just continuously carve instead of going through the animation again and again. On a side note, I think the system of oh yeah, the hub. I think the system of gathering monster tracks, using the scout flies, eventually getting your monster research level up to the point where you would know where the monster was on the map after finding one or two tracks, or even instantly knowing where it is, the more you hunt it and the more you engage with it. I thought that was a really great system. I hope that comes back in Wilds. I have no problem really with knowing where the monster is on the map just because I don't think it takes away from the hunting experience, but I do feel like, well, maybe I do. Maybe I do think it takes away from the hunting experience a little bit. I sat for an embarrassingly long amount of time looking at the ready to depart screen, thinking it was supposed to say something else. And I just kept thinking, man, this is a really long time. I think because it was saying preparing. It kept saying preparing, and I was not expecting that. And now I have caught my first endemic life, and the true endgame begins. Something that is not nearly as big a deal in the newer Monster Hunter game, but I definitely remember in the older games getting to certain monsters and being like, oh, I need a weapon upgrade because I am bouncing. Weird. Okay, well, clearly not Sheath now, but I have no idea what I did. It was an unsheathing attack that led to an aerial attack. Anyway, endemic life. Love it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I saw a Downy Crake on one of these Apteros? Don't love that they still, while not nearly as bad as older games, yoink, still disappear a bit fast. More yoink. All right. Going to get all the yoink. Oh yeah, I forgot that does damage. I feel like I used to use that to kill bugs. I feel like that didn't make bugs explode when you used the capture net on them. That and the clutch claw. I feel like the clutch claw didn't make them explode. Funny. Also funny. Yoink. I swear the number of times the field team leader has just yelled over here at me. I just want to look around. Is that asking too much? I'm never going to figure out what that move was. An unsheathing move that was also an aerial attack. Oh! Maybe I did it off a ledge and didn't realize it. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see if I can at least kill these guys without bouncing 20 times. Getting bounced. I meant to say getting bounced because I got knocked over a lot. I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, nope, knocked over. It'd be nice to fight my first large monster so I can test out some of these aerial moves. Can you tell I don't really know what I'm doing with Insect Glaive yet? I feel like when I played in 4U, I basically did aerial attacks, and then if a monster was down or I had the chance, triple triangle. That was it. Triple triangle, double circle slam if I was trying to get their tail. This is borderline embarrassing now. I am getting beat up. Maybe I should sharpen my weapon. Or have a better weapon. Or be better, because I am just getting beat up by Kestodons. To be fair, they're ganging up on me, so it's not my fault at all. It's funny, they got tired of me just not walking over to him, so they just interrupted me with a cutscene. I didn't even move. I was no closer to him than I was before. Oh, does this go right into the Jagras hunt? That'd be nice. As I was just saying, I kind of wanted to test out this weapon more. Let's see, and I'm lost. One thing about Scout Fly system, I feel like I got turned around a lot. It was really easy to wait, 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 and got it. It was really easy to make a left instead of a right, and the Scout Flies not make it. Did I get you? I didn't get you. That was fast. And make it really, really difficult to tell which way you were supposed to go next. It's not the worst thing in the world, but... So, Great Jagras. I'm going to attempt to not just bully you, and actually learn how to, slowly as I speak, use this weapon. Okay, so now it's charged up. Now it went through, but it still only got one extract. I thought it was supposed to make more powders. Or maybe that's when I actually mark the monster. There we go. Okay. Do I have to keep commanding him? I thought he automatically kept going for it. Let's try that again. Mark. Maybe if I mark him and then don't issue any other commands, he'll do it. Yeah, okay. Now he's still attacking him. I don't actually know which Kinsect. I was about to say knockout? I don't know. Which Kinsect powders these are. I feel like sharpening after every zone encounter is about the right pace. All that. I have all three extracts, I think. Didn't even notice. One thing I didn't notice, in the book is it doesn't tell you what moveset differences there are for. Wait a minute. Oh, I need to add this to my bar. That's what's throwing me off. Spider. What moveset differences there are once you're at all three extracts. I do like that the. Oh, yeah, I should have got those two. See, I need to always be thinking about the endemic life. I do feel like the newer games give you more weapon detail is better. Like, figuring stuff out on your own is fine, and when the monsters were actually pretty simple, that was fine, but monsters. I cannot think and fight a Great Jagras at the same time. That does not bode well for the future. But the weapons used to be incredibly simple, and the weapons being so simple, yeah, harass them. And at the same time, not telling you much about them, I feel like that was kind of okay. But as the weapons become more complex, I would appreciate a little actual information on how they work. Oh yeah, he's gonna eat a Aptonoth. Or a Kessidon? I wasn't even close enough to tell. And now I'm gonna try really hard to break his belly open. I wonder if I can mark his belly. Certainly, right? Oh, come back, Kinsect. Where are you? Oh, on my hand? There you go. Still don't know what I'm exploding. Maybe it's health. I don't think I've been hit much. Oh, that's pretty precise, isn't it? But, oh, you're almost dead already. Advancing slash. Very slow advancing slash. This fight could have definitely been done in a third the time. But that's okay. We're learning. We're learning because eventually we're going to have to fight something bigger than a Great Jagras. I feel like I always use... Oh, I feel like I always use my slam as my wake-up attack with Insect Glaive. I don't even know if it's the best ability. Oh yeah, mounting. I forgot somehow. It didn't even occur to me that with an Insect Glaive I should have mounted him by now. I wasn't doing much aerial stuff. I feel like aerial Insect Glaive is often the weakest Insect Glaive, but I find it very fun. I do like that the just hit R2 mid combo and the Kinsect starts attacking with you. It's very similar to the focus mode in Wilds, where if you're attacking in focus mode, the Kinsect automatically attacks with you and is gathering extract. I really love that. That's a level of quality of life that I put up there with Sunbreak's Hunting Horn automatically playing the songs when you play the appropriate notes in order. It's part of the reason why I love Sunbreak's Hunting Horn and am so disappointed that they changed it because I had anticipated making Hunting Horn my main weapon in the beginning of Wilds, but with them rolling back some of the changes, I just wasn't as interested. And that's that, I suppose. Yes, we only hunted a bunch of Jagrases, some Kestodons, and a Great Jagras, but I feel like that's a good point to end off for the day. Definitely don't feel like, and maybe because I'm using Insect Glaive, the controls don't feel quite as clanky as I remembered. Because I feel like when I first returned to World, I was surprised at how slow and stiff, maybe not stiff, but methodical, precise so much of the movements were. Very old school Monster Hunter-y, but not in a bad way. It just made you have to slow down and be more intentional with everything you were doing. You could easily overcommit and easily get hit and took quite a bit of damage. Do you go straight into the Pookie Pookie hunt too? I guess so, his name just popped up. Anyway, we'll save that for next time. So, World. I'm looking forward to experiencing this game again for the first time and fighting this Pookie Pookie. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I will see you all next time.